Almost 1000 uses stand between you and completely finished eyeshadow palette. The real question is, are you ready to commit? Hi, welcome to the Art App, a place where we do a lot of project planning and get some awesome results occasionally. Today, I'm gonna give you a final update on my Project Pan 2024. Let's talk about Sephora Satin Lipstick. Unfortunately, I don't remember what shade it is, but it's very famous Sephora Red lipstick. This year, I used it 27 times, and every update, I think this is the last one. Nevertheless, you can see that it's still going strong. Every time I swirl the applicator around, I see a lot of windowing in the tube, and there is not enough product to cover that windowing. And this is what makes me think that I'm very close to finishing it. So honestly, 27 uses, I believe I use it more, but hey, this is what my tracking tells me. Spoiler alert, this product is going to stick with me in 2025 as well. This is a very nice shiny red. Now on to some happier news. After 37 uses, 19 of which with a stiffer brush, I finally hit a double pan in my NARS Orgasm Blush. And this product really surprised me because it took much longer than I originally anticipated to hit a pan, and the journey was not the smoothest. On my skin, this blush looked originally like a splash of pink with a lot of golden shimmer that actually accentuated my textured skin, which definitely I was not a fan of. But when I switched the brush and focused on the buffing in motions, it made all the difference. I also have a sneaky suspicion that maybe the top layer of the product is slightly hard panned because somehow when I dig deeper, the product was kind of softer and it was easier to blend. Let me know if you have similar experience with this blush. I also finished L'Oreal Infallible Foundation after 33 uses, and we had also a very bumpy road. Sometimes this foundation looked gorgeous on my skin. The other times it was a disaster. It was too liquidy, too yellow, too cakey. The dispenser was not working properly. It was a nightmare for me. I personally know people who swear by this foundation, telling that this is the best foundation they have ever tried. But not me. It is not reliable. It works nice only when my skin is in great condition. I need something more reliable in my life. As for Hard Candy Glamour Flash Concealer, aka white paint, I mainly used it to lighten the foundations that were darker for me. After 13 uses though, it started smelling like the actual paint. Obviously it was expired, so I had to declutter it. On the brighter side, I used more than half of it before letting it go, so it somehow didn't feel like a total waste. Finally, I hit a pan in my powder part of Iconic London Contour Pot Duo. After 19 times and totaling 26 in this project pan, I got a shiny little pan. I use it mainly to contour my nose, and it worked beautifully for that. As for the liquid part, I originally thought that I would finish it by the end of this year, but as you can see, there is still a lot of product. I used it 16 times in this project pan, and somehow I thought that maybe I will finish it by the end of the year because it's winter. A lot of people tend to contour. As for me, I was leaning towards the bronzer. My bronzer definitely took over that part, and this is what happened. Still, I believe I have quite a decent progress in this part, and spoiler alert number 2, it will go into my Project Pan 2025. One of the biggest advantages of project panning is using up the product. One of the biggest disadvantages of project panning is learning that you don't like the product in the process and being stuck with it for the rest of the year. This is what happened with this Revolution liquid eyeshadow in the shade Chameleon. It's like relatively good thing for a drugstore price, but I am not a liquid eyeshadow girl. They don't work on my eyelid. And using it was a real torture for me because I had to make myself use it. I have to remind myself to use it. There are very specific occasions where I could wear it, and that was very limiting for me. Nevertheless, due to this specific product, I learned that. So next time I'm in a dire need, or my fantasy self is in dire need of a liquid eyeshadow, even if it's a duochrome, I will have this one staring at me judgmentally from my vanity, reminding me that I should not wear liquid eyeshadows because they do not work on my lids. And now I'm contemplating whether I need to put this thing into my Project Pan 2025. Continuing with liquid eyeshadows. Originally, I had one more in my Project Pan. It was Hard Candy Eye Dab in the shade Champagne. As you can guess, I had to declutter it because I couldn't make it work. With this one, there are some tricks which make it more long lasting, and I can wear it for like 4 hours without creasing. With the one from Hard Candy, it started cracking open within like 2 minutes after I applied it, and I couldn't do anything. So after countless failed attempts, I decided to let it go. Sometimes it is just easier to accept your defeat and just move on. I think this eye pencil used to be the longest living makeup product in my collection. I didn't even dare to use it on my eyes because it was so old and it was not safe. So instead I used it to fill in my eyebrows, and it worked beautifully. Even considering its age, it glided super smoothly. I need to dig through my inventory and make sure that I learn what brand was that, because it was that good. I also hit my goal on 2 ColourPop eye pencils. The first one is a rose gold one. I think it's called Get Lucid. I use it all over my lid and into my waterline, I think like 10 times. It's very nice. It adds brightness and dimension to my eyes. The second one is the brown one. I got it from a set. I'm not sure what the name is. I use it as an eyeliner and adding darkness to my outer corner. Very versatile, very good. Though I can't say the same thing about this blue eye pencil. It is from the collaboration between Wet n Wild and My Little Twin Star. It did almost nothing to me. It lacks depth, it doesn't enhance the look, unlike the pink eye pencil from the same collaboration. That pastel pink is my favorite eye pencil in my collection, and that pencil definitely makes the difference. Moving on to powders. In my Project Pan, I had a powder from IT Cosmetics. It's called Bye Bye Pores, and it was a challenge. I think almost everything in this Project Pan was a challenge. Anyway, I got it as a gift, I think with purchase, and as the name suggests, it's a pressed powder that none of my brushes could pick up. On top of that, the compact kept shutting down while I was trying to somehow pick up the product and use it up. Being so frustrated because of that, I decided to grind it and turn it into loose powder, which was not a good idea. The formula of this airbrush pressed powder is very dense and it is slightly pigmented, which are not great attributes of a loose powder. Nevertheless, whenever I paired it with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation, somehow together they worked magic. That's one of the joys of project panning, finding unexpected yet very effective product combos. After 23 uses as a loose powder, I finished it. Let's talk about the most exciting part, the eyeshadows. So technically, I have finished my ABH Modern Renaissance palette. It took me a year and a half and more than 1,000 dips to finish that palette. Let's get a deep dive into each shade. The first one is Tempera. It was my setting shade and it was gone after 95 uses. The next one is Golden Ochre. It is the one that I struggled the most at first, but later I figured out a staple look and it took me 102 uses to finish it. I finished Vermeer in 62 uses, mostly because I use it as my highlighter and I used a big face brush to use it. Bon Fresco took me 67 uses as an eyeshadow and I think at least 3 uses as a nail polish. But as you can see, there is still a tiny bit of it in the corner. I hope to use it after 5-7 applications. This is the shade that I actually finished in 2.5 months. The other shade that I also finished in 2.5 months was Red Ochre. 62 uses as an eyeshadow, and 8 uses as a nail polish. So how did I do that? The main secret is just create a staple look. I have created 2 staple looks with those eyeshadows. The first one was warm taupe in the crease, or one frasco in the crease, and also on the lower lash line, and the lid was covered with Colourpop Glass Bulb. As a result, I also hit accidentally a pan in my Colourpop Glass Bulb. This is how much I use it. The second look was red ochre all over the lid and glass bulb topping it. It was quick, simple, reliable, work-appropriate look. But I will admit, it was getting a little bit boring. So the kind of piece of advice I can give you is, whenever you see that there are some shades that are similar in your project pan eyeshadow palette, start with them. Whenever you're like full of energy, whenever you start your project pan, tackle those shades first. So later in your project pan journey, whenever you feel that you are tired of them, you can give it a pause and already have some progress, instead of racing and doing the same eyeshadow look all over again at the end of the month, at the end of the year, because you want to have it done. Now let's talk about Antique Bronze. This shade was my favorite one in this palette before I started project panning. It was just a no-brainer. You pick it, swipe all over your lid, and it looked great. But after hitting a pan with 34 uses, the texture of that shade changed. It felt very gritty, and I thought it was unsafe to apply it on my eyes, so after hitting the pan, I decluttered it. Now let's talk about the shades that I really struggled with, but nevertheless managed to tackle them. The first one is Love Letter. I really struggled to use it as an eyeshadow. I only managed to use it, I think, 27 times, but as a nail polish, that was a game changer. I used it 14 times and it was gone. The main struggle was that it was a mid-tone shade and I couldn't find a place for it in my eye looks. But as a nail polish, it flew by. The next one is Cypress Umber. That shade has definitely deteriorated. I have a similar shade in Soft Glam and the difference is so clear. The one in Modern Renaissance lacks essence, lacks depth, it is sheer, it was not buildable, it couldn't be used to deepen the look. While in contrast, the one from Soft Glam was rich, was very deep, was perfect for adding dimension to your look. So after 39 uses, I hit pan and I decided to declutter it because it was not doing what it was supposed to do. I finished Rosienna after 50 uses as an eyeshadow and 28 uses as a liquid bronzer. That shade taught me that I love neutral sheer bronzers. That's why I struggle so much with Burnt Orange, because it was a little bit too yellow for me. That's why I have almost 40 uses of it as a bronzer and I think 20 uses as an eyeshadow. Primavera was one of the stars of this palette. It is perfect for textured eyes as all over the lid shade. I personally used it a lot as a highlighter and I think after 26 uses it was gone. The number of usage is so small because I used once again a big face brush which picked a lot of product. Warm Taupe. This shade was one of the reasons why I bought this palette. It is perfect as a cool tone crease shade and it also has enough warmth to make it even more versatile. Even the name suggests, Warm Taupe. I used it 124 times, the most of any shade in this palette. It's just mind-blowing of how many looks it takes to finish it. 124 days. The next one is Real Gar. It is a little bit too orange for me to be used as an eyeshadow. Therefore, I repurposed it to be a liquid blush. And I think I've used more than the half of it because it is of that corally sheer shade that is perfect as a base for any further blushing. It brings me so much joy to use it as a blush comparing than an eyeshadow. That was a struggle. Now let me address the elephant in the room, Venetian red. Like Love Letter, it is a mid-tone pink color that has a limiting versatility. Mid-tones are great for blending in or for transitioning, and since it is purplish pink, it has a very limited color range to be blended into. Unlike Warm Taupe, that is extremely versatile and can be used with any other colors, Venetian red is much more complicated and much more limiting. That's why I have officially decided to retire it from my makeup collection and start using it as a nail polish. I'm sure it will serve me well in that role because I used up Love Letter as a nail polish and I had so much fun doing that. I think you can already guess that I plan to continue my project panning. I think I will set a video somewhere here where I will talk more about that. So by the next update of 2025, I will let you know about my progress with Venetian red as a nail polish. And that's it. I have finished the whole eyeshadow palette. And in reality, I have very mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I'm very proud to, I would say, finish the entire palette. It's so nice to know that I used nearly every shade, but on the other hand, it is quite sobering and eye-opening of how much time, how much effort, how much commitment, how much dedication it takes to finish up a makeup product. And I have like 20 more eyeshadow palettes in my vanity. The result of this project pan taught me that I'm definitely covered in the section for eyeshadows for the next 40 years. But this is the topic for another video. Today I'm going just to celebrate that I've reached such a milestone in my makeup journey. And being so excited, I've already started brainstorming the products that I want to pan or finish in 2025. So subscribe if you want to know which those are and what are the other tricks and tips of the project panning. Have you also started planning your 2025 project pan? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.